Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. We're talking all things Europa League as the Europa League semi-finals first leg took centre stage last night as Villareal hosted Arsenal, in which former Arsenal manager Unai Emery returned to haunt his former club with the Spanish side as they beat Arsenal 2-1 on the night. Whilst Manchester United took on Roma, in which Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side delivered a 6-2 battering of the Italian club. In this video, we're basically going to be looking over key moments and talking about how things are set up for next week's second leg encounters. But before we go any further, would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated, of course. But for now, let's get back to talking about last night's Europa League action, and we're going to begin with what was a poor night for Arsenal as they lost to Villareal. Yeah, for Arsenal, it was a bad night, or I guess you might say a bad evening. For the Gunners, it was a night where Unai Emery returned to face and ultimately then go on and haunt his former club as his current Villareal side ran out 2-1 winners of the first leg. Manuel Trigueros fired the home side in front with the opening goal of the game, and just before the half-hour mark, Raul Albiol doubled the Spanish side's lead. Things went from bad to worse for Arsenal in the second half when Dani Ceballos got sent off for a second bookable offence. But out of the darkness came a shining ray of light, a ray of hope in the forms of both Bukayo Saka and Nicola Pepe, with the former winning a penalty for the Gunners and the latter converting from 12 yards to grab Arsenal or what could turn out to be a very important away goal. Former Tottenham midfielder Etienne Capoue then got sent off himself for Villareal late on as the game finished 10v10 on the pitch and with a scoreline of 2-1 in favour of the Spanish side. I don't really need to say it, but I'm going to anyway. It was a really poor night for Arsenal, wasn't it? A really poor night for them, but the silver lining here is that whilst the performance wasn't great and whilst the result obviously was a loss, the scoreline-wise, it's not a terrible one in all honesty. The performance wasn't great. Arsenal were poor in the final third with their end product. They were poor all over the pitch, but their end product in the final third really let them down at key points. You know, whether it be the final pass, the shooting, or the decision making. But the result to take back to the Emirates next week isn't that bad. Let's get it straight. No one wants to lose. Nobody is saying that they want to lose ever a game of football. But this tie still has another 90 minutes to go. The Gunners managed to grab an away goal to take into next week's encounter back at home, back at the Emirates. And the scoreline is 2-1 in the Spanish side's favour. Arsenal have an away goal. And we all know how much of an important factor that away goal can be come the final whistle. Arsenal have proven this season that they have the capabilities of turning this game around. They also have shown the capabilities that they can properly self-destruct and they can properly capitulate, and that this could get even worse for them and that they can actually get knocked out of this competition. But with a bit more fight in them and with a bit more to sort out in terms of their end product in the final third, maybe they could actually progress here and maybe they can get through. They also need to be careful defensively. Let's not kid ourselves. It's not just about the final third that needs to obviously improve. It's obviously defensively. Villareal don't need to chase this game as much as what Arsenal do, and therefore it could leave some space in behind Arsenal, and Villareal could look to exploit that on the counter-attack. And of course, they have a manager who, as I've said in the past, is no stranger to success in this competition in Unai Emery. So it does leave it wide open for next week. I still back, some way, somehow, Arsenal to progress and pull off a result next week that sees them book their ticket to the final. And I honestly do think that they will be able to go through, but it will be a difficult night for them, and it could be a very long night at that for the Gunners. Or the last time I said that, of course, they did go on and batter Slavia Prague in what was a more comfortable game for them. Different circumstances, I agree, but I do predict a long, very long, and difficult, but successful night when these two teams play again in their next encounter in the second leg for both Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. On the other side of the draw, of course, you had Manchester United as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer looks set to overcome this sort of semi-final curse, I guess you'd call it, that he's been under the past couple of years following a 6-2 thumping over Roma. It was the perfect start for United inside 10 minutes when Bruno Fernandes got the ball rolling, so to speak, opening the scoring. But on the quarter-hour mark, though, Roma did go on to equalise. A rather fortuitous kind of looking penalty was given in Roma's favour following handball against Paul Pogba, and Lorenzo Pellegrini converted from 12 yards. Roma then went ahead later on in the first half when Edin Dzeko, of course, United will know all about him from his time at their rivals Manchester City, had the simplest of finishes to put them ahead. But after the interval, United fully awoke and took control of this game. 5 minutes into the second half, Edinson Cavani equalised. Then later on in the half, after the hour mark, Cavani went on to score his second of the night and United's third goal of the night as well. And then from there, the floodgates completely opened. Fernandes got United's fourth goal and his second of the night from the penalty spot. Paul Pogba headed home United's fifth goal. And then to put the icing on the cake, Mason Greenwood got in on the act, firing home United's sixth and final goal of the night. Simply put, United definitely ran riot in the second half, didn't they? No doubt about it. At half-time, I think we were all possibly thinking that there's a strong possibility that the semi-final curse that Solskjaer and United have been under the past couple of years could be looking to continue. But the second half display has seemingly put an end to this run of only reaching semi-finals in competitions and not progressing further. Of course, it's not completely over yet. Don't want to count my chickens or anything too much. We've still got to consider at least or talk about the possibility that this tie isn't over yet. There is still another 90 minutes of football to be played. And as we all know, anything can happen. But I think we are just covering all bases with this kind of talk because it's a massive deficit for Roma to overcome. And even with 2 away goals to their name, the Italian side face a major mountain to climb, and for them that may be one challenge too many. It might be too big of a challenge for them to overcome. With all due respect, of course, I don't see Roma overcoming this, and I think we can safely assume that United will be in the Europa League final. I think more for Roma when these two teams meet in the second leg next week, it will be more about trying to keep the aggregate scoreline at a more respectable level, shall we say, as United take a 6-2 lead to Rome next week. Like I say, possibly, probably, likely, very likely, United are 90 minutes away from going into a Europa League final. Simple as that. But of course, as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think of last night's Europa League action. What do you make of Villareal beating Arsenal? What do you think will happen next week when these two teams meet in the second leg? Who goes through to the final? Who gets knocked out? And of course, on the flip side, what do you make of the Man United game? What do you make of Man United thumping and thrashing Roma 6-2 on the night? Who goes through next week? Will there be a major surprise and will Roma manage to somehow overcome the odds next week? Or will United just see out the remaining 90 minutes in a comfortable and controllable fashion? And of course then, who do you think will go on and win this competition? I'd like to know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call them, down in the comment section below. I'm sure they'll all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, Hit the like button on the way if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and fragile be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. And I will see you all again soon in another video.